wall. So I've got my mat scooched over today. Hopefully you guys will be able to see me well, but we'll do a lot of stuff in the center of the room. So if you don't have a lot of wall access, that's all right. I'll give options for staying on your mat and for going up the wall with your feet. And we are ready to go. All right. We're going to take just a couple of breaths here today. As you breathe today, you're going to get a feisty start quite quickly. So I'd love for you to feel your abdominal wall expanding as you breathe in. And let it be a fierce inhale. And as you exhale, really press the abdominal wall in and let your throat lock so that you can practice that ujjayi breath with the sound of hissing on the way out. Should sound a little bit like an ocean wave crashing. All right, letting your arms come up, breathing in through the nose. Exhale down the center line. If you feel the urge to yawn, that means your body wants even more big, deep breaths. And we're going to take it down to the front. And sweep side to side with your breath. Exhale, center. Inhale, swing up, side. Let that arm open a little behind you. Coming down center. Just let your head hang and come halfway up, halfway. Really let the back of your neck open up. Let your chin dive into your chest. And if you're not feeling a neck stretch yet, go ahead and gently take your hands to the back of your skull and lengthen the back of your neck. You want to feel a great big arc, like a spiral into yourself. Drop those shoulders back as you begin to sit upright, still stretching the neck. Slightly turn your face to the right. Exhale, nose down, and then slightly turn your nose to the left, changing the back of the neck stretch. Settle your face down in the middle, release those arms, big breath in. And open your arms wide. Invite that big fluffy cloud onto your chest, poof, 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 like a giant marshmallow just snuggling you in for a big hug. And let your elbows come back. Walk your hands behind yourself. And let's sway here, opening up the chest. Sway. Elbows back, spread your ribs, drop your neck onto your shoulders. into your chest first, then rise up. Exhale, switch your legs. We're going to inhale and reach out on the diagonal back. Exhale, draw those shoulders down your back. Really feel your upper back engage. Re-engage your pelvic floor, your root chakra, and your belly lock. So we're lifting up and in the belly here. Your back is really getting fiery. Spreading your fingers out in all directions. Really radiate through each finger and your whole chest. And inhaling up. You're going to exhale, twist to your left, let your hands come down. Roll those shoulders open and drop your hips wide. Do a little check to see that you're still vertical with your spine. It can be really tempting to lean back or to let your shoulders curl because it feels like you're getting a little bit more twist. But we really want this twist to be revolving around your own center line. So bring it backwards, anchor those shoulders, gather your belly lock in, create that warmth with your abdominal wall, and then come back home and circle around. Inhaling center. Good, good. Elbows back. Open that chest to the sky, and this time along back of the neck. And we're going to cat-cow with the chest, even though we're not on all fours. So curve. Inhale. Arch. Inhale, long neck. Exhale, belly gaze. An option to lift the pelvis. Dropping the neck back if you want. Exhale, drop that hip down. Rise up. And we're going to stretch those wrists. Take those legs, put your soles of the feet together. We're scooching ourselves into a butterfly stretch, and we're pulling our thumbs towards the inner wrist. And let's warm up our hands as we lean forward into the bound angle pose. Roll it up. All right, now we're going to do some wide angles today, and we're going to do some deep lunges, and we're going to do some of our regular sun salutation practice with the option of using the wall. If you don't have a wall, but you do have a really heavy couch with like a stern, like when you step on the edge of it, you can feel the wood and you feel strong there. You could step up one step onto that couch, and I'll turn my camera in a second to show you what I mean by that. But before we move on, let's put our feet flat on the ground and let our knees open wide, but very bent. And let's just have a little wake up and how are you? Mosey in the middle. So if you're really tight in the inner thighs, your legs might be a bit closer together and very bent, and that's great, yeah? I would much rather you feel your pelvis tipping forward here, because if we get too much of our ego in the way and we straighten our legs too early when we're tight, then what we end up stretching is our back, trying to lean forward while our belly falls back, yeah? So that's never gonna help your inner thighs get more flexible. Bend those knees a lot. Find yourself in the way in. And then come back to your breath, friends. And let's inhale up to your right. Exhale over to your left. Circle that chest. Reverse. All right. Go ahead and gather yourself up. If you need to move your camera or your body, what we want to do is to do our sun salutation today with our feet next to the wall. So I'm going to be pretty far back today, yeah? Hopefully you guys can see me all right. It's a little dark, but I think we're okay. Yeah? And so if you had a yoga mat that's a regular shape, I have obviously this ginormous one, then it would be a long ways with the short end against your wall, if you have a wall, and it's okay if you don't. Now, if you don't have a wall, but you have a couch that is very sturdy, another option is, and this couch is not very sturdy, but I'll give you a little idea. You could put your mat this way, yeah, and then put your feet into the couch edge here, and that would give you a lot of the same sensations that we're going to have with a wall back here, yeah? It's actually not so bad even with the squish, because this has a squishy pad, but there's like a firm wall underneath it. So that might be an option too if you have that nearby. Okay. With that, let's get started. Ooh. I think we could use a little bit more saucy music. What do y'all think? Let's move it along here. There we go. Okay. Let's see if I can give you guys a little bit better view here on my Zoom. There we are. That's better. Okie dokie. Now the music doesn't want to play. Okay. Oh! I did a hard restart just yesterday, but I think we need to give it another nudge. Okay. Thank you for your patience. All right, so you're standing at the front of your mat. Boop, 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 boop. We're going to go through our sun salutations here. Starting with our feet together. Big breath in. Exhale, sigh. Knees dropping down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, open. Inhale, up. Exhale, lean it front. Inhale, flat back rises, shoulders back. You can experiment with shifting your weight forward onto your toes by radiating your head forward. Squeeze those thighs together for balance. Exhale, sigh, take it down, right leg back. We're gonna rock back and forth. You remember that sensation we talked about? The 4 directions of your lunge. Knees going forward, heels going back, thigh is dropping down, belly is lifting up, and back thigh is lifting up. So as you're rocking into this to warm it, keep those 4 directions in mind. Good. We're going to bring that chest back up. Trying to come back to our vertical pelvis.
For me, that means softening the back thigh so that my lower back has a little more space. Scoop. Good. Take those hands down, step back, chaturanga vinyasa. Pressing back into your downward dog and finding your own breath. And remember, anytime we come to a downward dog in my class, you can always choose to cool it down even more by settling into child's pose. Let's all come there for a second and flip your wrists over. Rest your head. Coming back up into your downward dog. Take your foot and just explore if there's a wall behind you. Yeah. So if we're doing downward dog here and we're going to start thinking about the wall, we're not going to walk up it just yet, but you want to be able to touch it easily with your feet. And we want to also be able to take our leg up. So let's go ahead and take our leg up. And notice how the wall really gives you feedback if your hips are opening, right? Because you had to kind of get them around the way. Go ahead and re-square those hips and slide your toe up the wall, hopefully without stubbing it like I just did. Go ahead and take that knee in and pendulum. Inhale. As you lift your foot, exhale as it comes in. If you feel like you're bumping your foot right now, step it forward. Give yourself enough room. Good, and let's step that right leg forward. Back to your high lunge. Roll those shoulders back. Settle down low. And we're going to reach back foot back and forward foot forward. And hips go down. Back thigh comes up and belly comes in, and take your hands back to the earth. Find that rock. Remember that squeezing your thighs towards that center line will help you with your balance because it squares your hips. Reach those arms up, friends. Find your breath. Reaching your heart up. Exhale, reach it forward. Back foot pushes off, stepping together, forward folds, inhale up, flat back. Exhale, soften. Swing those arms through, big circle. Big arch. Bring down the stars to your heart. Big deep breath. Next inhale, start again. Open your chest. Lifting in those abs already. This abdominal strength we're using right here while we arch the upper back is the same abdominal strength we're going to use in a plank or in a cobra, right? To not collapse in our lower back. Up and over, passing through your flat back. It's okay to bend your knees at any time during this section. Radiating through the crown of your head, not your forehead, the crown of your head. Settle it down, and left foot's gonna go back. Rock it out. Go ahead, chaturanga vinyasa, stepping that right foot back. Heart forward as you lower to the earth. Find that abdominal engagement before you press up through cobra or upward dog. Exhaling down. Pressing up and back to your downward dog. Walk back towards the wall. And just let your heels touch the ball or the bottom of your couch if that's what you've got. And rest in your downward dog. Shoulders roll back. Knees can be bent if they need to be bent. But let your heart drop open towards your toes. Big breath. Reaching your skull towards your thumbs. Look up at the space between your thumbs and adjust your hand placement. Remember, you only want your fingers to be as wide apart as your shoulders. And now we're going to take our heels and put them just 1 foot up the wall. Find your breath. Come back down to your knees. Don't worry, we'll go back. Yeah. I'm going to try and walk us up a little bit farther and incrementally. So be patient. I'm trying not to wear us out because we're going to do a lot. Okay, back here in a little child's pose. Take one arm and the other and wrap them around the opposite elbow. And you're going to stay here in the child's pose, but I'm going to come a little closer. It's very important that we keep our arms and shoulders healthy as we take more weight when we step up to something behind ourselves. So a great way to check the distance of your shoulders and therefore your hands is by wrapping your hands around the opposite elbow. And that will make about the distance of your shoulders. Thank goodness we're mostly proportionate like that. Yeah, on the floor, remember we want our pointer fingers to be pointing straight up. And so that means that the fingers are out. And the reason why we think about that is really because we want the elbows to point down alongside our body. Yeah? So let's go ahead and grab elbows, drop down, and pull your elbows in around side your body. And I mean squeeze. Yes. And then flex your hands. Good, good, good. Feel that pressure. And can we then pull our shoulder blades back, which will bring our hearts forward. Yes? Hearts forward, elbows in. Now slowly straighten those arms out, keeping that inward squeeze. And that is the feeling we want to have on the floor. Notice my elbows are still pointing down. When we put weight into our arms, they tend to rotate out. Yeah? So keep that in. Just go ahead and be a chicken for a moment, and I will join you back in your child's pose. Change my light a little bit here. Hopefully this will help. Oof. Okay, I think that's a little brighter. Okay, so we can set our hands on the mat, wrap to check. And we do want to be back, yes? Child's pose, elbow grab, pointer fingers in, keep those elbows in, chicken wings. We're going to not have chicken wings. Yes, tuck your feet. Coming up to your downward dog. It's a lot of effort to hold those arms in. And we're going to slowly walk 1 foot at a time. Just walking up and down and up. Keep checking those elbows. Mine have definitely cheated out. Alternate which leg is going up. Good, good. All right. Walk yourself away from the wall or couch. And your left leg is going to come up. Let's pendulum. Step it through. Let's wrap this sun salutation. Settle those hips. Good. Big lift. dropping your shoulders down, rippling that pelvis back to vertical, lifting your chest and heart high and shining up at the sky. Imagine you're gazing upward and there's a sun. Maybe it's hiding behind a cloud so you can stare right at it. Feel that centering. Feel your support squishing into the earth. Long back of the neck, big breath in. Exhale, reach out. Long body. Flat back over the front thigh. Try not to collapse into that front thigh. Back foot's gonna rock. Step you together. Forward fold. Good job, good job. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, settle it down. Big breath in. Lifting righty up, opening it wide. Find your bus stop for your tree. A on the floor, B on the ankle, C on the calf. Big step up to D above the knee. E replace with the hand. Your bus stop. Even hips. Opening that knee open. And let's breathe in. Go ahead and take that foot. Now, if you are next to a wall, you can use a wall for this. Walking next to your wall, you can hold on to it as you place the ankle across the thigh. Looking down, make sure that this standing leg has knee and toe facing straight forward, yeah? All right, we're gonna sit down. Leaning out. Bending your standing leg more, but checking to make sure that the knee and toe are pointing straight forward. Walking your hands forward. You're gonna let your body unwind. You're coming to a tree plank. Walk it back. Good, 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 good. Bending your standing leg, knee and toe reaching straight forward. Drop your tailbone to restack your spine up, grasping your foot on the way up. Switch sides. First, your tree. Your choice could be A on the floor, B, C, D, E. As long as you're not putting sideways pressure onto the knee, you're doing a great job. Unhook that foot, place it across the thigh. Look down. On this side, my knee wants to point this way, but my toes are still pointing that way. We want to make sure that knee and toe are perfectly aligned while we do a big bend in the working leg. Yeah? So reset. Reset if you need to. Outside of your hips and inner thigh are both helping you to lean forward. And turn sideways for this one. Okay. You can help yourself down the wall. It's okay if you feel differently on one side than the other. See about that plank. Walking it home. Rolling, stacking yourself up, grasping the shin and the foot. We're going to do this again, both sides. Now let's say, what if you have a shoulder injury or some other injury that's keeping you from doing this quite challenging action altogether? You could face your wall. Give a little space. All right. So now your right leg's going to come up. Find that tree that works for you. Shoulders back. Let's reach our branches up to the sky. Keep opening that leg as far open as you can. Taking your hands forward, you could practice your plank into the wall here. You're going to switch the leg position. You could walk down the wall this way to get to your seated position. Check your new toe again. You could walk back up the wall in this position, really pressing into the earth. Strong abs. Get a nice chaturanga action there. Walk it up to your plank position. Walk it back down to seated. And grasp. Stepping to your other leg. To the tree. Remember that in our tree, this up leg should be your left leg right now. When we lift that leg, often we try to lift the hip with it, right? Which sends our booty out, which puts us falling forward. So what we really want to do is drop the hip underneath ourselves to find straight. Turn the other way. Yeah, a lot of the time we hike that hip up in order to get our foot in place, but we have to swing it back underneath ourselves in order for the thigh to be able to open and point out to the side. Big breath in. Lovely, lovely. And switching your foot to the location of choice. I'm going to move back and give myself a little bit more space. All right, so ankle on shin. Notice the action of opening that thigh presses it into the leg, and that's what helps it stick until we bend our knee. And I'm going to really feel my foot. I can feel that my weight is further in my back of my foot than my front right now. And so I'm trying to think about spreading into both the big toe and the pinky toe. And then I'm going to find low, walk it forward. Oof, you could do a chaturanga. Bring it back home. Stack it back up. And release it. Hooray. All right. Roll those shoulders out. Circle those hands. Let's face your wall. I'm trying to think which version of my wall is the best for me to face for you guys to see. We're going to take a big breath in and swing our arms up. And we're going to send your right leg back. We're going to find warrior three. Touching your wall with your hands this time. Good. All right, from that warrior three, I'm going to turn this way. Since you have a wall to push at, push in that wall just like you're supporting. And don't be afraid to readjust the distance of your standing foot to and from that wall. We want this distance to be the distance of our arms. And I'll show you how to pre-prep that next time. But see what warrior three feels like when you can put your hands on the wall. If you have a couch, your hands will be a little lower than your chest, and that's all right. Good, good. Walk it down to the floor. Hanuman. Send the knee in. This won't be your deepest Hanuman. Drop your hips down. Hop those feet through. Place your feet against the wall. That distance of your legs, hooray, hooray. I know it doesn't seem like the right distance to get from the wall, but it is probably the distance from your hip socket to your palms. It's certainly the right distance of your hands. So go ahead and take your hands, place them down on the floor between your hips. Notice what you're lining up with on your mat. So for me, I have a little stripe on the floor over here, so I know that I'm about 4 inches in front of that. Stripe is the distance between my legs and the wall, and that'll be useful for setting up. I'm gonna put my feet where my hips just were, and I'm gonna do my other warrior 3. Big breath in. Now for me, my torso is long compared to my arms and my legs. So when I came into this position, I don't have enough room for my arms. And that's okay. I'm gonna take my foot, scooch it back, and adjust. I'm gonna take that down and switch it because I was on the wrong side. There we go. Go ahead, soften your knee, walk your hands down to the floor, and lift that leg up a little more. Taking your feet down to the floor together. Big forward fold, drop your head. Soften your knees if you need to. And walk your hands, wrap your arms around your thigh. From here, some of us may be looking at the screen or the floor. I want you to take the next 3 breaths with your head totally dropped. Really let each exhalation release your neck and head a little bit more to gravity. And notice there's a lot of balancing going on here when your arms are wrapped around those legs. Can you support into the floor and get deeper into your stretch? And then can you re-release the head, neck, and shoulders? And come back to your breath. Go ahead and drop those pelvises back. Rock onto the balls of your feet. Squeeze those legs together. Pull your belly lock in and find balance. Taking your hands back to the floor, exhale. We're going to turn and step your foot out. So now we have open legs. My heels are still quite close together. I'm trying to get my heel under each hip socket for the garland pose. Big importance here, especially once you take your hands off the floor, is knee and toe same direction. So don't let your knee be passed wider than your toes are, or keep it in with a wide toe. You can feel in your foot the arch stretching if your knee's too far in. You can feel yourself rolling out onto your pinky and the big toe coming off if your knee's too wide. Use centering to pull those thighs together. That will help stack up your pelvic floor lift, your abdominal wall. And then once I get here, I'm going to re-widen like a flower, opening the thighs to come to my full garland pose. You don't have to be up here. If this just aches in your knees because you have arthritis, maybe it's not for you. That's all right. Keep those hands on the floor and keep a little weight out of it. It's a lot of work. So let's breathe. Good. One time optional, pressing down into the earth to rise to standing. Knees apart, knees apart, knees apart, knees apart, knees apart, knees apart. Beautiful. Rise up with your chests. Open. Pelvis still strong underneath you. Dropping your chin to the chest. Interlace those fingers. Curve your chest forward. Rotating your thighs out as you stand here. Bring it back up. Engage those abdominal walls. Thighs are rotating open. We're going to reach our knees out to either side. Option to drop back down. Otherwise, please meet us back down on the floor. Slow pressure into the earth. Knees with respect. Good. All right. Go ahead and turn away from the wall into your right leg forward, pigeon pose. Good, good, good. Big deep breaths here.
Good. Press your body up.
Change this back leg, which is now currently behind you. We're going to swing it in, roll it open to the side, leaving it bent, inner thigh stretch, straight over the middle of your heel. I'm going to come to the center for this. See me a little better. There you go. Now I like to use this arm on the long leg to help assist this leg to stay turned out and supported underneath the knee. Remember, this looks really different on everybody's bodies. So if your knee is super bent, but you're feeling it in the inner thigh, then that's the right place for you. I've been doing this for a long time now. So I have really flexible legs, and it looks different on my body than it will if you're just starting out, okay? Please be with yourself. Yourself deserves to be catered to. Let's find our breath in this pose. Breathe in length. Beautiful. Go ahead and walk your body up, friends. Now we're going to get up into our gate pose. So I'm going to bend both legs. Yeah? I'm going to walk my hands forward, coming up onto those knees. I'm going to change this standing knee and swing it around to the side. So if this is the short end of your mat right here, you're going to have your shin parallel with the short end of your mat. We're going to send our other leg out to the side and find a place where it's comfortable to put your hand down. And then just like with side angle, we're going to bring this bottom hip underneath. We're trying to put both hips, both shoulders, all on the same side. It's going to bend. Oh, it feels delicious, right? We're not trying to be in a flat line. It's not a side plank. It's a big, delicious rounding of the side of your body. Go ahead and rotate softly, smoothly through those rib cages, opening. Curving. Oh, look, it's a thread the needle position. Inhale, press those hips through, opening. Good, good, good. Go ahead and take both hands down. And we're going to put your left knee forward for pigeon. And drop it down. Find your breath. We're going to use some positive affirmations. I release. Let yourself think those words. Inhaling. Release. I release. And exhaling. I release. I release. I release. I release. Let that echo build inside of you. I release. I release. We're going to press up into our hands, and we're going to change that leg. Placing your shin at the short front edge of your mat. You're going to open up to the side and find that gate pose. Letting your whole foot touch the ground. Can you release your head and your neck? Can you find your breath? Can you adjust to where this feels heavenly? And then release. Beginning to breathe in and open your chest skyward. And then exhale and release your chest towards the floor. Getting a little twist underneath yourself, like thread your needle. Inhale, open it up. Let the palms see the sky. Exhale, bring it back around. Remember that last week we talked about yielding, discovering what we don't need to hold on to hold a pose. Now right now your supporting arm is definitely working, and the shoulder of that arm is rotating the shoulder back so that your back does the work instead of your elbow. And still, we could let go of our head. We could soften the arm a little bit. Let's go ahead and release back to the mat. We're going to lay down on that hip that was just in the air. Yeah, so your left knee is still on the ground. We're going to slide out. We're going to put our head on an elbow, grab that top foot and hold it behind ourselves. Coming back to your breath and your thought. It's okay if you close your eyes. I release. I release tension. I release the baggage that's been slowing me down. Let yourself echo that thought in your head. I release guilt. Whatever imperfections we all have, let them go. I'm releasing your foot. We're going to roll to the other side. Taking the heel to its own hip socket, opening up that thigh. Closing your eyes and feeling your breath. I release. I release grudges, knowing that my intuition will protect me without holding on to hate or pain. I release anger, knowing that its spark and energy can stay with me without hate. I release frustration and allow myself time to grow. Releasing that foot. We're going to come back to your bellies and find your way back against the wall with your feet. Bing, bing. Taking your hands down by your rib cage. We're going to inhale, lifting the head up. Looking straight forward, so you're in sort of a cross between a chaturanga arm and a locust body. And we're going to drop back down and see if we can come back to that position now with more length. Lifting our pelvic lock, lifting our belly lock, reaching our tailbone long, pulling our shoulder blades centered towards the spine. Lift your belly off the floor first. Push the hands into the ground. Lift your chest with your back muscles and scoot yourself into the wall so that you can really radiate your legs and heels into the wall. Notice how pressing down really gives you more length throughout the spine. Weird but true. It's because you're engaging more of your back muscles. Drop your chin 2 inches so that you have a long back of the neck. And begin to press up to upward facing dog, and then bring your hips back into the wall or couch. And let's go to that modified puppy pose. Opening up your chest, big armpit opener. Slide out on those sticky mats. I know, not always easy. And let's just take that little measurement that we did before, the length of your legs, right to that certain point. We're going to take our hands down there. Placing your hands shoulder width apart on the mat. Cat-cow. All right, friends. Pointer finger straight forward, elbows in. We're going to press up. Heels on the mat. Really stretch your armpits out before we take weight into them. Elbows in and walking your feet up the couch or the wall. Now, if you have just a couch, you're going to be in a modified downward dog. If you have a wall, go ahead and walk your feet up, if you feel comfortable, a little bit higher. The goal being to get your heels as high as your hips and no higher, and that will be your handstand position. Whenever you need to fall down, just bend your knees and step down to the floor. Yeah? Up and down as you need. See if you can hold. You're creating a right angle. So your legs will be parallel with the floor. Your hips are trying to get over your shoulders. And that's why it's really important to measure the length of your legs before we go back up into this spot. I have my spot. My elbows are in. Shoulders back. Walking up that wall. Come on down. We're going to be up a while, so it's okay to take it a little easy right now. Taking some notes. Your shoulders need to connect with that spine. So if you come up onto your arms, take a look here, and your shoulders are hugging your ears. You don't have room for your pirate earrings. Everybody needs pirate earrings, so you want to anchor those shoulders down. We're definitely squeezing in to rotate those elbows in. That's going to engage your pecs, yeah? So shoulders back engages the back of your upper back. Elbows in engages the front of your upper back. Pressing, actively supporting, just like you do with your legs. Support into the floor. And remember, the biggest important contact is the first two knuckles and the thumbs. So don't let your hands rest just on your pinkies. That means that your elbows have rolled out. Okay, let's try it a couple more times. Measure twice, cut once, as they say. Yes? So check your hand position is good before you start up. Shoulders back, belly engaged, support into the floor, walking up. Next bus stop is to take one leg higher if you feel it. Don't if you don't. Come back down. Press those wrists out before trying again. When you're taking one leg up, and I'll do it once on this side to help you see a little bit. The big thing that often happens, just like with Warrior 3, is that instead of our leg, let's say this is my leg on the wall and this is my leg that I'm taking up, instead of this leg going straight up on our center line and keeping our alignment, a lot of the time the leg kind of squishes out a little bit, and look what happens to the rest of your body, right, when that weight happens. So do use your centering even when your leg is in the air to hold to that center line. It will help to keep all of your body in alignment. Okay, let's try again. And remember, you might be doing this at bus stop A, which is just downward dog. Yeah? If you have no wall, no chair to work with today, then you're just working this through in downward dog. Let me check my leg length on this wall. Oh, how handy. It's next to this stripe. That's handy. Okay. So I'm going to come up. Shoulder width apart. Elbows in. Walking up. Find the height of my hips. Drop my shoulders down. And feel my center line as I lift that leg above my body. Now, come on down. Go ahead and hop your feet to your hands and roll back up. You're going to feel a little sparkly in the head as the blood rushes. Whee! This is the next thing I want you to integrate into that same task. Your belly is huge for your balance, yeah? So what I want you to think about next time, we often get, oh, it's handy that I can touch my ceiling here. We often get a leg up and lose our abs and arch through our back, yeah? But to hold that position, we're gonna have to use all of those abdominal muscles, just like in a plank, to hold our body still, yes? So next time you come up to the wall,
think about cat-cow. And you're probably gonna have to really fight for that cat position just to stay flat in this pose. All right, I'm gonna go back to this one. Side view. Beep, 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 beep. I always think my legs ought to be longer than they are, but they aren't. And that's okay. Remember, no kicking up here. Kicking up, jumping through your pose really just takes you, I can touch my low ceiling here, really just takes you past the weak parts in your body, and we don't want to skip those weak parts. We want to strengthen through them. All right, come back down and flip those wrists over in your child's pose. All right, now my wrists and hands are tired. We're going to switch to touch on our tripod headstand. An important thing to know about headstand in yoga is that I've never seen anyone do just a headstand like in a cartoon. Never. I know there are people who can do it, but you notice when you go to Cirque du Soleil, they don't do it there either, because it is really not good for your neck to put all of your weight on your neck. What people do usually is one of two supported headstands. Number one is, I think it's called supported headstand really, is this one, yeah? Which is really mostly your elbows and the outside of your hands on the floor. Some people teach it open, meaning my palms are apart, yes. Some people teach it closed. Kind of depends on how long your arms are. The benefit of having it closed is that you're also strengthening your hands, wrists, and forearms, which is nice after just being up on them. If you have quite short arms, then sometimes you just need a little bit more space, but it's hard to get that same squeeze grip going on. So it's nice to squeeze grip some of the time. I'd say do both. Now, your crown of your head, we're all gonna touch our heads. If you have pretty hair, too bad, it's gonna go. If you have a bun right on top of your head on the crown, now's the time to move it. Your crown of your head is neither your hairline nor where your pompadour or tiara would go, but please touch that spot, because if you feel the floor on that spot, which we often do, that means your neck is kinked, and we don't want to put pressure on the neck with a kinked neck. Yeah, so rather than putting the pressure here on the head, we need to get the floor pressure in the very center of your skull. Yeah, so please tap your skull in the middle. If you realize you have a lot of bobby pins right there, it's a good time to move them, because otherwise it will be very uncomfortable to put weight on that spot. And the reason why I ask you to touch it first is because then you're going to have a kinesthetic experience or awareness so that you know what it feels like. Oh, there's the spot I want to be. The crown of your head is where a crown sits. A beam of light would shoot straight up to the heavens out of that spot if it were there, okay? All right, so we're going to do supported headstand from this, I guess it's really like a variation on a dolphin arm, yeah? Dolphin arms, elbows are the same distance from your shoulders. Yeah, shoulder width apart. You're gonna hold hands or make a little space if you need to. When we do put our head down, you're not gonna be in this position. Everybody try this, where you're like looking forward and your hands are on your head. You're gonna move your hands further back so that your forearms are wrapping your hands behind your head. Oof, my hair though, it's not made for this today, sorry guys. And you're gonna be squeezing your elbows in against your head, yeah? Nod your head yes here. Notice if you lift your chin, you're gonna be placing this on the floor, your tiara, and if you drop your chin to be regal, you will get your crown facing down.
Okay, we're gonna next move on to doing a couple of, this is gonna be quick, y'all. We're gonna do a sun salutation variation on the floor with a dolphin up the wall. And then we're gonna move into a wide angle against the wall to try and get our legs all the way up, okay? Bear with me. You know more of these steps than you think you do. I'm gonna start front and then switch in the middle. Big breath in with me at the front of your mat. Exhale. Feel grounded. Feel that center line. Inhale up and open. Big breath in. Swing down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale down. Step your right foot back. One big circle up. Swing all the way through Chaturanga Vinyasa. Stepping back, left foot, lowering. Inhale, take it down. Press up and back to your child's pose and scooch your body to the wall. Yeah? All right, I'm gonna tuck my toes. I'll really be next to the wall. And I'm gonna check my arm distance, holding onto each elbow. Then I'm gonna hold hands with myself. And as we press up into your dolphin, your elbows will try to take all of the weight, but I want you to press your pinkies evenly into the floor. And remember, your choice, hands clenched or space between the palms, but fingers clenched. Go ahead, press up. My heels are on the wall now. Pressing into my pinkies. Walking up, dolphin on the wall. Now I notice I'm really quite far out. So on my next one, I'm gonna bring myself closer in. Just taking your feet down, put your knees down. I started too far from my child's pose. I'm gonna put my elbows under my shoulders there to start next time. Go ahead and step your right foot back forward. Go ahead and reach out. Take your hands to the floor, step into your Hanuman, hold that leg. Really think about lifting your back leg up the wall, not up the wall, you're floating in the front of the mat. Stepping together. Inhale, big inhale all the way back up to standing, little twinkly in the sky. Phew, blood rushes out of your head, big breath in. Exhale, open. Inhale up. Exhale, take it forward. Remember your legs. Don't have to get as high as my legs. You want to find your challenge today because I am making it feisty, but that doesn't mean you have to break yourself. Find something that feels fun to you. A place where you can explore. Stepping down, Chaturanga Vinyasa. Feeling that floor, that wall behind me as I press up. I'm gonna go ahead and put my heels on the wall, legs together, belly in, and I'm gonna press up through my plank with my heels in the wall. Whew. I'm not pressing back in the wall at all. Doot, doot, doot. All right, press back to your child's pose. Flip those wrists over before we go on. Notice here in your child's pose that your forehead or your tiara is touching the mat. Yeah, and that's all right in your child's pose. Go ahead and bring your elbows to your shoulders. So you're bringing them in nice and close. And before we put any weight in those arms at all, let's tap the crown of our head and touch the crown of the head to the floor. And for me, I gotta lift my butt up a little bit to really get the crown on the head on the floor. All right, take the crown of the head off the floor. Hold hands with your sweet self. Hold those elbows in, friends. Press into the earth and walk those legs up the wall. Now I'm quite far up, and I notice that my booty is way out because my abs are not properly engaged. I do not have weight on the crown of my head right now. I'm just using my forearms. And I'm gonna bring my legs down. And I think I'm gonna give my arms a couple more inches out because when I straightened my legs, I really felt like my booty was behind my shoulders and my waist, and I want them to be one flat back. All right, I'm going to try it again. Pressing into my pinkies and my elbows, getting up here onto the wall and holding my abs a bit straighter. Ooh, even more. You can try the single leg here too. Go ahead and take it down. Release that. And we're going to change positions now. So we're going to put our shoulders up against the wall instead. Now, we did some inner thigh stretching. We haven't done a lot of wide lunges today, so it might feel a little bit tight, but we're going to take this dolphin pose and we're going to put our heads against the wall. So I'm going to show you sideways and then I'll switch walls again. I'm putting my fingertips next to the base of the wall. There's a little gap here for me, maybe a finger's length. I'm going to pull my shoulders back and I'm going to gently put the crown of my head on the floor. Now you don't have to, you can stay totally dolphin like we did before for this, but it's nice to have a little touch of the crown of the head. Remember? Gather your belly lock in. Be sure you're really pressing your elbows and your pinkies in and begin to walk your feet sideways to a wide angle. That's it, just that. Yeah? Now I notice here already, I'm nowhere near the wall. Can't feel the wall behind my head, can't feel it behind my shoulders. I'm gonna walk my legs back together and I'm going to adjust. Now remember I left that little gap in my fingers? It's not working for me today, so I'm gonna bring my fingers all the way to the wall. And I'm going to hope that when I get my feet around here, I start to feel my shoulders touch. Yeah? And then I'm gonna pull my shoulders down to find straight. Okay, crown of the head on the floor. Knuckles are definitely touching the floor now, or the wall now. I'm gonna walk my feet out to the side. Remember, no jumping. And I can feel my middle back touch the wall. And once I do that, I can swing my legs around to come up. And I am definitely trying to push into the mat and get my head off the floor here. My heels are pressed against the wall. I'm going to settle back down. My butt rests against the wall as I reopen my legs to come down. I know you guys are probably at home jumping. Jumping is not allowed, my friends. No kicking your legs up. Walk your legs wider and wider. You will feel your hips roll up to the wall as you walk your legs wider and wider. It should feel like your hips are curved away from the wall and then they roll up, yeah? If you kick over that spot, you're going to send your body bouncing to the wall and then you will rebound back out and you'll have skipped, strengthening all those little muscles that you need to hold yourself in that position. So resist that urge. Instead, have patience, please. All right, I'm gonna try it this way. See a different view. All right, hands together. Up nice and snugly against the wall. Belly lock, pelvic lock. Walking my legs wide, no kicking, just walk them wide. Push into the floor, the wall will catch you. Radiate through those legs to get up. Squeeze and tall. Check in with yourself, especially that neck as you come down. Soft movements. Now, if your neck is already feeling fatigued, I recommend you call it a day because your neck is so delicate and it can be a little twingy. Just feeling that fatigue is really enough for it. If you're feeling fine, you want to give one more go. This will be our last time through. Take a breath. Softness in the shoulders. I'm going to do one more thing after this to get us down to the mat. So hang tight if you don't want to do your last inversion. All right, down to the floor we go. Shake it out. All right, friends, we're gonna come onto our mats and we're gonna do a little shuffle and settle into Shavasana. So if you need one small sip of water before we move on, let's do that. I'm gonna change our music. Settle in our lighting. Finding yourself on the floor here. Moving my mic pack, pardon me. And we're going to take our knees side to side, just like windshield wipers, softly swinging. Letting your hips rock, letting your arms reach out and up. Out and up. And let your head roll softly with your head and your knees rocking. Take these last couple of breaths for any lingering wiggles and squiggles you want to do. And when your knees walk themselves in, and we're going to bring one knee, your right knee, to your chest. Slide your left leg long. Big breath in. Pull those shoulders down behind your back and extending that leg. Soften it to your chest. And inhale and stretch that leg. Hanuman was a monkey who leapt across a huge chasm to save the world. And that's why Hanuman the monkey is related to splits. Exhale, soften that knee down. Bring your other knee in and send your right leg down long. And just find your breath here. Releasing your right leg to the earth and to gravity. And slowly extending your left leg up. Soften that knee to your chest and slide it down. And take those arms up over your head. And we're going to take a big breath in and reach as long as we can across the left side of your body so your left foot and hand are stretching apart. Big breath in, attenuate, reach right feet in. Let it go. Breath cycle of nothing.
And then your right side. Lengthening from the tips of your right fingers out through the tips of your right toes. Let the whole side of your body get as long and as stretched and as reaching as you possibly can. Hold your breath. Exhaling, let it go. Taking those arms down around your torso. Give yourself a great big hug, wrapping your fingers around. And we're going to use our arms to softly rock the ribs, letting your hips stay heavy. Tuck those fingers around your rib cage. Big breath in. We're going to squeeze tight. Exhale, let go. Two smooth breath cycles. After this breath cycle, we're going to give ourselves that hug again, breathing in nice and tight. Let's go ahead and wrap your arms around. If you can switch arms, that's great. Not a big deal. Fingers tucked in. We're going to inhale, squeeze tight, and hold our breath in our squeeze. Big breath in. Squeeze. Let it all go. Unwind your fingers. Flop. 2 breaths. With as little effort as possible. Go ahead and walk your knees into your chest. We're going to do the same idea here, holding onto your legs. Breathing in, we're going to bring the knees up to our chest. We're going to curve ourselves into the tiniest little squished up ball we can and hold our breath and let it go. We'll do it twice. Big breath in. Let it go. 2 empty breaths. Walking those legs back in, bringing your flesh around your flesh. This miracle of billions of cells that allow you to practice, that allow you to breathe, that allow you to feel sensations. Let's breathe oxygen into those cells. And hold yourself with all the love and compassion that you have ever wanted to feel. Hug it in. Let it out. Let yourself widen a little bit. Let yourself take up a little more space. And go ahead and wrap those arms around your torso, somewhere comfortable this time. Feel your breath in your ribs as you inhale and exhale. So often in our lives, we forget to give ourselves love and compassion. But we don't need to hold on to those what ifs or if onlys. Happiness is not the result of success. Happiness is a cause of success. And you deserve to give yourself love and compassion and comfort just exactly as you are. Just
because. Wrap those arms a little bit closer. And we're gonna breathe in and we're gonna hold our breath and squeeze. And when we exhale, we're gonna keep hugging. Big breath in. Squeeze yourself with the biggest, tightest hug you have ever had. Squeeze it, hold your breath, hold it all in for yourself to heal, to be better, to be loved. Give that squeeze to yourself. And as you exhale, I want you to keep holding on. Keep squeezing. Your arms are aching, but you are telling yourself how important it is to take this time. How important it is to model health, how important you are, your health is, how important it is to be happy. When you're ready, take that warm, fuzzy feeling and let your arms go and hold that feeling with your heart. Just as you are. Exactly the way you are in this moment. What a great hugger you are. And let your breath slow down. Feel the warmth in your hands and your arms. And just spend some time with that soft hum. Gently bring your breath back into focus and come back into your body. Letting your eyes open and your fingers wiggle. Gently, when you're ready, rolling onto your side for a moment. Extend your top leg long. Walk your way up.
I hope your hair is totally ruined. Then you get a good chuckle about it later. Thank you all for joining me this semester. Thank you all for being brave, for experimenting, for being playful, for being willing, for showing up for yourselves. Thank you all for trusting me, even though I know that I'm just here in a screen and I wish I could give you more feedback. I would love to see you in person in the fall. My hybrid class is going to be Monday, Wednesday in person, and then we'll have one day a week that we do something online asynchronously. Most of all, I want you to know that I really care about you, that it's so important to me that you guys keep practicing. I am so proud of all of the gains that you guys have made and told me about. And give yourself a big hug, please. This one's from me. It's really tight. I'm a tight hugger. Thank you. Happy summer! I will send an email out with class listings in the next probably couple of hours or tomorrow. But I'm also here and I have office hours. I think today, it's in your Zoom, but I have some office hours this week if you want to stop in and ask me any questions about anything. One last reminder,